What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. the Bluff guy. Hey! And we're back with another One Piece chapter reaction. Today we will be reacting to One Piece chapter 1055. Before I get into all of that, make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe. Make sure you are following me on Twitch. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And also join the Discord. Join the Discord if you're looking for a community. I also have a One Piece Facebook as well. Everything will be in the description box below. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. The title of today's chapter is One Piece chapter 1055, The New Era. And it's like we're getting right into the chapter. There's no cover page. So we get this shot of Wano, and we hear people stomping, stomp, 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 stomp. It's a festival going on right now, so makes sense. All right, then we see Momonosuke saying, "You mustn't, Yamato." Yamato says, "Why not? Why can't I fight him?" Momonosuke takes a hit while he's saying, "You mustn't, don't you dare strike him." We see Green Bull punching or attacking Momonosuke. All right, so we got Raizo using the Nimpo scroll jutsu, his devil fruit abilities, of course. Says fire escape, gua. So I'm assuming he's using like some of the fire that maybe he got from Kaido, right? Maybe he still has some of that fire saved in his scroll. And it would make sense though, especially using fire against somebody like Green Bull. Probably be the best option. Green Bull says, yeah, nah. I guess it's not doing nothing to him. And he says, fire break forest. You think I could hack it as an admiral of Navy HQ if I was actually susceptible to such an obvious weakness? Okay, so Green Bull just kind of debunked my whole belief in him being susceptible to fire. Maybe it's some training stuff, I don't know. But, obviously he knows how to handle such weaknesses. And I don't think it's necessarily him being not weak. Like, he's still weak to it, but he has a defense against it. Pretty sure he had to learn that encountering a lot of fire users, or it's smart, right? Because you would think a lot of people would go to that fighting him. So he would have to develop some type of counter to it. And then we see like a branch pretty much send Razzle flying back. And they say, Razzle. He says, oof. Oh. And now one of the like vines is seeping into Razzle's body. Like it's attached to Razzle's body. And we see it draining Razzle of, I guess, like his nutrients and his life force. And he says, ow. And they say, Razzle, are you all right? And Kawamatsu is going in to attack some of Green Bull's vines. And he says, curse you. For every one I cut in two, another grows. And they say, does he have any weakness? We gotta just keep moving the grass forever. So Green Bull is like wrapping around Denjiro, Kawamatsu, Nekomamushi. Okay, so we move under the palace. It says Kosuke Sakiyaki's secret chamber. And then below. So we see a poneglyph looking thing. I'm not sure if that's so that's the poneglyph. That's the same poneglyph that Brook found. We see Kokeshi dolls around it. So that's not the roll poneglyph. And we see a piece of the floor removed to reveal some steps. We see them walking, Sakiyaki, Kosuke, Robin, Law, and it says, I'm surprised you sniffed us out. You weren't with the others, so obviously I was suspicious. Don't act like I'm some kind of hyena. So that's Law pretty much telling Robin and Kosuke Sakiyaki. Sakiyaki says, watch your step. There's Mo down here. And he says, I never told Kaido or Orochi about this route. But because Jack, the lead performer, was a fishman, they discovered the poneglyph in quick order. Okay, so I know he's a fishman. I know Jack is a fishman, but he wouldn't be able to move around if he went in the water. So I don't know how Jack was able to find it and he was able to explore, unless he didn't have his devil fruit at the time when he was doing this. Because there's a panel of him look like he's actually swimming. He must have not have had his devil fruit. Robin says, why would being a fisherman make it easy to spot? Sakayaki says, quicker to see for yourself. Law asks, how long will this take? Sakayaki says, oh, let's say several centuries into the past. Robin asks, where is this dim light coming from? Sakayaki said, there's a glass block at the end of that tunnel. Or go ahead and look through it. We're on the sea floor at this point. Okay, Law kind of like squeezes past Robin, and Robin says, hey, no fair. And then we both see Law and Robin look in shock. Oh boy, what are we about to get? What are we about to get? Something about to not happen, but we about to see something dope. They say, huh? It's Wano at the bottom of the sea. We see what looks to be like an old version of Wano, like some type of ruins, and it's right at the bottom of the sea. You see all these fish. So that makes me think Wano wasn't always what Wano is currently, right? So maybe those borders, I don't know if they were built, naturally happened. This might have been old Wano. Sakayaki says that is the Wano of about 800 years ago, a different Wano. Law asks, what does that mean? Sakayaki says, it means just as I said, but whatever happened in the past is unclear to me. The fact that this is not seawater probably explains a good preservation. What it means is that there was once a Wano with an enormous Fuji mountain. At some point, great walls grew around the island and it filled up with rainwater. The people had to abandon their flooded towns. Wano was actually kind of like a normal island, right? Where we had Mount Fuji. But then the walls of Wano, something happened. I don't know, maybe a devil fruit user like Pika or something. Not Pika specifically, but somebody with that devil fruit that Pika had maybe created these walls, and some of the seawater got trapped within Wano. And it flooded the old Wano. It flooded the old version of Wano, which means they pretty much had to raise the city up higher. And this was eventually led to what we get now. Sakayaki says, and instead created new land on the side of the mountain for a new country. Robin says, and that's the Wano of today. Sakayaki says, it is. Bro, some juicy stuff right here. This is some juicy stuff, especially talking about the history of Wano and the geography of Wano. Sakayaki says, we're here. The road poneglyph. Okay, now we get the road poneglyph. Now we finally found the fourth or the third. This is like the third pone, because there's still one poneglyph left that we have no idea where that one is. But we got the third one. We got the Wano poneglyph. Yes, sir. Robin says, there it is. That's the third. One more and we'll be able to get to Laugh-Tale. We're now high up in the caves at the foot of Fuji. It is further down into the earth. They're like at the bottom of the Fuji mountain, but still kind of above the water. Like they're out of the water. I think Robin asks, where the ancient weapon Pluton is said to rest. I have never seen it for myself, and I cannot show it to you now. In order to retrieve Pluton, the walls will need to be torn down. In other words, opening the borders means destroying the country's natural defense and unleashing an ancient weapon into the world. Robin asks, opening the country will release the weapon, but why did Kosuke Oden want to do such a thing? Kosuke Sakayaki says, I've told you everything that is passed down through the shogunate line. I cannot tell you what Oden learned in his travels abroad. We cut to near the flower capital. Green Bull says, mere human beings cannot match the might of nature itself. Don't you get it? It was Kaido's presence that kept me from coming here. We know. Sad as it is to admit, Kaido's rule was a deterrent that kept enemies away from this land. Now bring me Straw Hat Luffy. Once I've taken his head, I'll be on my way. So he pretty much got all the scabbards wrapped up. Yamato, Momonosuke. And Momonosuke needs to fight. Stop, bro. You can't let this guy just do whatever he wants. Fight, man. Stop telling Yamato to not fight. We fighting, bro. We fighting. Yamato says, we can rely on Luffy and his friends for help. They're better than him. That is not an option. And I won't ask for your help either. Don't bother. You have been trapped on Onigashima for all of this time. And this is finally your chance to be free. Yamato says, huh? So I'm giving you a proper send-off. Luffy, Zoro, and the rest, I've had them fighting my battles for me all this time. We're the ones who will stay behind in our country. We must be able to drive off any enemy. Okay. So now, bro, I'm telling y'all, this right here is furthering the belief that Yamato is leaving. I was actually starting to believe that Yamato could stay too. Like the fact that Yamato is over here fighting with Momonosuke and the scabbards, I was thinking like maybe this is like Oda kind of showing that Yamato might actually want to stay by Momonosuke's side and fight for Momonosuke. But now we got Momonosuke pretty much saying like, look, I'm not asking you for help. I got my scabbards. I will sit here and fight for Wano. I'm not asking outsiders for help to protect Wano anymore. So you go off. You was trapped on Onigashima. You go be free. Momonosuke says, if we must ask for help from those who are about to leave, then we will never be able to protect Wano. Yamato says, Momonosuke. Momonosuke says, be gone, forest monster. Be gone from here. Green Bull says, listen to you squealing like a little kid. I didn't know dragons could sound so pathetic. And we see Momonosuke doing like a blast breath, and he says, be gone. So Momonosuke shoots a blast breath that like goes through Green Bull. And then Momonosuke says, Gaia, something came out. Scabbards are saying, Lord Momonosuke. And they all fall to the ground. Thud, thud, thud. All right, so Momonosuke can indeed use blast breath now. It just took a little motivation. The Scabbards say, what was that, Lord Momonosuke? It looked just like Kaido's power. And Momonosuke's going for another one. Be gone. Be gone. Be gone. Green Bull says, wait, damn you. And he's just sending these blast breath. Yamato says, incredible. Has he mastered his dragon body now? His aim isn't great. Okay, so he's hitting him though. He's hitting Green Bull. We see Green Bull on fire. A little flower that was in the ground withers away, and it says, there we go. Oh, okay, I see what that is. I think that's like part of Green Bull. That's kind of like keeping him alive from actually dying. I think, because it's talking. It says, there we go. And then he's like regrowing from like a small sprout. He says, goodness, you trying to burn down an entire town? So you mean business, fine. But you're a pitiful replacement for Kaido. I'll skewer you from mouth to tail. Okay, so I see what's going on. So while Green Bull's body, like his current body is burning down, he's able to transfer his conscience into like a little sprout, which eventually grows and creates his body again. That's dope, man. I like how that is. I like how that is, because most Logias, we see him kind of disperse their body and then bring it back. But him, because his body's a lot more physical, right? It's a lot more physical. You can actually touch and damage his body. So he has to almost transfer his life and his conscience to recreate like a new plant. And then, bam, he regenerates. It's dope. It's creative. I like it. And then Green Bull, he was just in like his like big plant form, but now it's like something happens to where he breaks out of it. Like we see we see like these lightning, like possibly Conquer Hockey lightning bolts come from like way behind Green Bull, and it almost breaks his transformation. He says, "Da, wait, stop. That's Supreme King Hockey. Who's doing that? The red hair pirates? Are you nearby?" Oh, oh shoot. Oh shoot. Don't tell me red hair Shanks has entered the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yo. Shanks is still on the ship. This man Shanks is still on the ship, and he's sending Conqueror's Hockey, enough Conqueror's Hockey to disrupt Green Bull's Devil Fruit transformation. Okay. They say, Captain, easy with the sudden hockey blast. The new guys are foaming at the mouth. Now, I'm not accusing you of fighting dirty, Navy man, but when the new shoots that just changed pirating history are exhausting from their feet, don't you think that what you're doing is a bit much? Bruh, Shanks is talking to this man from the ship after attacking him with a hockey blast, a Conqueror's Hockey blast from the ship. Like, I don't know how he's projecting his voice. Is it with hockey? I don't know. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's actually projecting his voice with his Conqueror's Hockey, which we seen Luffy do. Bruh, we learning more about hockey, bro. We learning more about hockey. We gonna talk about this. We see what looks to be Kid Luffy crying because blood is spurting from his face. I'm assuming that's that time where Luffy took that knife to show Shanks like he could be tough, and he cuts his face. And then we see Odin with Momonosuke and Toki with Hiyori. You know, she's kind of like, you know, have that motherly love with Hiyori. Kind of like a little miniature flashback. Shanks says, "Are you that afraid of the new era?" Green Bull says, "Look, I'm not picking a fight with you guys. Not yet. Fine. Yeah, Green Boy ain't want that smoke with Shanks. He didn't want that Shanks smoke. So like that kind of actually make me dislike Green Boy a little bit, because it's like, to me, it's showing me that he's willing to pick on people that he believe is lesser than him. You know, like that aren't as strong as him, but he's scared to fight somebody who's superior to him, which kind of makes me believe we was talking in the Discord about what is the justice that Green Bull subscribes to. And what I believe his justice is superior justice. Because he seems like the type that he wants to impress people that he think are superior to him. But people that he believe is inferior to him, he treats lesser than. You know, he picks on them. Like this chapter show that he's willing to pick on people that's lesser than him, but he's not willing to fight someone who's superior to him. So I think his justice, or at least how he acts, he just believes in superiority. You know, people that are better than him, he respects. People that are lesser than him, he doesn't respect. So Yamato is celebrating while Green Bull leaves. Momonosuke is looking off in the distance, crying. I guess Momonosuke believes that he scared away Green Bull. I don't know if they heard Shanks talking to Green Bull. So we cut to the fire festival. We see Brook, Frankie, Chopper, Usopp, all of them partying. Nami as well. We see Hiyori with Otoko. And then we cut to Luffy. He said, "He's gone. Hee hee." And Sanji says, "We don't get to fight." And Zoro says, "Not bad, Momo. Not bad." Jinbei says, "That was some monstrous hockey being thrown around, though." And Luffy says, "Yeah, what was that?" It made me think of a familiar face. And then we see Shanks' ship like leaving Wano, and it says to be continued. Oh man. That's a hey. This chapter, bro. This chapter. Let's talk about this chapter. Okay, so we get some Green Bull action. You know, one thing I said is Green Bull was probably going to be weak to fire, which I still think he is, but he has like a counter to it. And even when he did get hit and burned down from Momonosuke, he was still able to like regenerate. Like he created like a he it's almost kind of like Pika. Like Pika's moving through the stone. So if you hit a part of the stone where Pika is, he can move his real body. He could transfer himself away from that stone and avoid any damage. So with Green Bull, he had his little transformation form and it got burnt down and he took damage. So he was able to transfer his conscience away to create another little like sprout of a plant and then grow from that, you know, which I like that. I do like Green Bull. I like his devil fruit and how he uses it. It's very dope, you know, it's dope. You know, it's not like how we see the other Logias. It's not like your normal way of how Logias work. You know, it's a bit unorthodox, but I like that. And you know, he's handling the scabbards and Momonosuke, but I also like how Momonosuke has grown. I like the man Momonosuke has become. You know, because yes, his body has aged to 28. I think he's like 28 now, but he still never actually matured naturally. You know, he still has that mind of a 8-year-old. But he's growing. Like he's like, hey, he's telling Yamato like, hey, I don't need your help. Go be free. You know, this is my job to protect my company and the people that are in it. It's my job to, as my guest, it's my job to protect you guys. You know, so that's dope. I really do enjoy the character that Momono has become to this point. And I've been enjoying it this whole time. A lot of people, they may not like Momonosuke, but I like Momonosuke. I like his growth. A lot of people get mad like he's a crybaby and stuff. Bro, the kid, he was 8 years old, bro. Like, what do you expect from an 8-year-old? Like, a lot of people expect Momonosuke at 8 years old to be like Luffy, what Luffy is now or something. Like, that's not how life, that's not realistic. You know, like the kid literally, like his dad and mom dying was like a couple months ago. You know, it's pretty recent. You know, he had to grow up very fast. But, you know, we see him being a little baby and everything and crying all the time. And then we see him get kidnapped by Kanjuro. And as hard as that was, he was able to sit here and tell them like, look, stick to the mission. I'll find my own way. I'll find my own way. Even though he still needed to be saved, that's shown a lot for Momonosuke to be able to say something like that. And then he asked Shinobu to pretty much mature him with her devil fruit power, becomes a dragon, and he's fighting with Kaido. You know, he takes a bite out of Kaido, and Luffy's like, look, you see what you just did? You bit a Yonko of the sea. If you can do that, you can do anything. If you're brave enough to do that, you shouldn't fear anything. And then he also saved Onigashima, which was probably his crowning moment. He saved Onigashima and everybody in Onigashima. Now he's fighting an admiral, was able to produce a blast breath and everything. So, hey, some of y'all might not like Momonosuke, but shout out to Momonosuke. I really enjoyed his character development, and that's what it is. So next we talk about the poneglyph. We finally found the poneglyph. Sakiyaki, or Law caught up with Sakiyaki and Robin, and we learned about Wano, old Wano, how actually the old country was it was actually on sea level, but somehow some borders were created around Wano, which also, like, the water that was around Wano remained in within the borders, but it pretty much rose up. It rose up, which the old country ended up being underwater, and the new country had to be raised, which eventually led to the Wano that we got now. But the poneglyph in the ancient weapon is still underwater. But in order to get to the ancient weapon, you have to destroy the borders, which I don't think is going to happen yet, right? Because even Momonosuke told Zonisha, like, hey, we don't need you now. But I think Zunisha will play a part, because eventually they will have to get Pluton. Eventually, they will have to reach Pluton. But I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. Then we also got the road poneglyph. Robin hasn't read it yet, but we're one step closer to getting everything we need for the Straw Hats to be able to reach Laugh Tale. Then we also continue the fight with Green Bull and the Scabbards, but you know who intervenes in probably one of the most badass ways? Shanks intervenes in a badass way. He sends a bolt of Conqueror's Haki all the way from outside of Wano. Now just think how far up high Wano is compared to where Shanks is. Shanks sent a bolt of Conqueror's Haki from the sea, from below Wano, and however many miles that was, he sent a bolt of Conqueror's Haki all the way from the sea, and he even was able to have a conversation with Green Bull. He had a conversation with, so that definitely does show that Conqueror's Haki, you can project your voice with Conqueror's Haki. Like, Conqueror's Haki is in essence, or the voice of all things, possibly, or the breath of all things, and Conqueror's Haki are very, very well linked, So I would also assume that Shanks has the voice of all things and the breath of all things, but they are linked somehow, because he we seen Luffy do it earlier this arc when he projected his voice to Law's crew in the submarine, and that's how he was able to be saved. Shanks literally sit here telling Green Bull, like, look, hey, what you doing is kind of cowardly, bro. It's kind of cowardly. Like, at least let these men rest, So I think it definitely gives us a little more, in a very subtle way. This chapter has given us more about Haki, especially Conqueror's Haki, and how far you can go with it. So, we also end the chapter with Zoro, Sanji, Jinbei, and Luffy, of course. The monster quintuple, I guess we'll call that. The monster quintuple. They're sitting there, while the other Straw Hats are still partying and Robin is off looking for poneglyphs. They're very aware of Green Bull's presence. They're very aware of it, but they're like, hey, we didn't even have to intervene. Maybe we was going to have to intervene, but we didn't. So they was ready to fight this whole time. They was ready to fight pretty much. And Jinbei mentions the Haki that was being used. So they were able to also sense this Haki as well. And Luffy himself says, what I felt was, it felt like a very familiar face, which, as small as that moment was, that was probably my favorite moment of the chapter. Because it was kind of like, man, it was almost like a pseudo reunion between Shanks and Luffy, where, like, Shanks knew Luffy was in Wano, and Luffy was able to almost decipher that was Shanks that was doing that. Like he was smiling about it and everything. And then after him saying that, we see Shanks ship like go off into the sunset. Bro, it was a heartwarming moment. Like I ain't gonna lie, it was a heartwarming moment and probably one of my favorite moments of the chapter. Next to Shanks just showing us what he could do with his hockey. Man, bro, this chapter was very good. I enjoyed this chapter. I really love this chapter. You know, we got a lot more, right? We got some poneglyph stuff. We got some Shanks hockey stuff. Hey, what more can you want from a chapter? Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitch. Also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And join the Discord. Anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P. the Bluff God, and I'm out of here. Peace.